Have you ever wondered how much we know about our origin as a species? We've been around for quite some time now, but our impact on the planet has been far from perfect. And just when we thought we had it all figured out, something new comes along to challenge everything that we thought we knew. That's right, scientists have just made an incredible discovery, a brand new human species. And trust us, it's not just any old discovery. This new species is causing a major stir in the scientific community, and for good reason. It's raising some serious doubts about our origin as a species, and it's got everyone talking. So what are these mysterious new human species, and why are they causing so much excitement amongst scientists? Well, I guess we're just gonna have to stick around to find out, right? We're gonna take you on a deep dive into the inside story of this groundbreaking discovery, and explore what it means for our understanding of human evolution. We all know that we belong to the Homo sapiens species, but have you ever wondered how we came to be? The journey to becoming modern humans started with the ability to walk on two legs, which began around 6 million years ago with our ancestors Sahelanthropus, but it took another 5 million years before Homo sapiens finally appeared. During that time, many different human species existed, evolved, and eventually died out. They intermingled and sometimes even interbred, shaping the course of human evolution. As time went on, their bodies and brains evolved, as evidenced by their tools and technologies. Today, as scientists are uncovering more information about our ancestors through the discovery of ancient bones and stone tools, analysis of our genes, and research into changing environments that played a crucial role in our evolution, what they've found is that the origin of Homo sapiens can be traced back to Africa, but not necessarily to a specific time or place. Instead, distinct groups of human ancestors evolved in relative isolation until climate changes forced them to interact, trade, and even interbreed. This mixing eventually led to the genetic makeup being so distinct in modern humans. Interestingly, when it comes to tracing the migrations, movements, and evolution of our species and the ancient relatives that we had, genes play a more crucial role than fossils. In fact, the oldest DNA from an early human ancestor was discovered in a place called Cima de los Huesos, which translates to the pit of bones. Deep within the Atapuerca Mountains in Spain, archaeologists found thousands of teeth and bones belonging to 28 individuals. These remain dating back to 430,000 years ago, provided experts with invaluable insights. In 2016, scientists painstakingly extracted fragments of DNA from these ancient remains. Through their analysis, they made an astonishing discovery. The humans in the pit were known as the Denisovans, a closely related species to modern humans. This finding suggests that a common ancestor of modern humans, Neanderthals and Denisovans, lived between 500,000 to 750,000 years ago. While our genes show clear connections amongst these groups, there's still a mystery surrounding another hominid species that left its mark on our DNA. Unfortunately, only a handful of teeth and bone fragments belonging to this elusive ancestor have ever been found, leaving us uncertain about its identity. One possibility is Homo heidelbergensis, a species that lived between 200,000 and 700,000 years ago. It's believed that the African lineage of this species eventually led to Homo sapiens, while the European branch gave rise to the Homo neanderthalis and the Denisovans. However, the search for more ancient DNA continues, as it could provide a more complete understanding of our evolutionary history, But finding such DNA is a challenging task, and its discovery is far from guaranteed. Unfortunately, Africa's climatic conditions are not conducive to the long-term preservation of ancient DNA. As a result, there has been limited opportunities to sequence genomes of ancient African humans older than 10,000 years. Fossils found in Africa often exhibit a combination of modern and primitive traits, indicating that the evolution of human anatomy has been characterized by discrete clusters of development. These clusters have led to humans with diverse appearances, as different traits evolved in various regions and periods. Now let's take a little trip back to a small village called Jebela in the northwestern Africa, around 300,000 years ago. As you explore the area, you come across the bones of 5 individuals. These bones are not quite like those of modern humans, and they also have some characteristics of more archaic humans, such as a larger brain case. This tells us that humans were already widely dispersed across Africa at this early stage. But Jebela isn't the only place where human remains have been found. In South Africa's Florist Bad, fossils of Homo sapiens were discovered at about 260,000 years old. And in the Ethiopia Omar River, the Kibish Formation holds fossils that are approximately 195,000 years old. So what's interesting about these fossils is that they have some small morphological variations, such as a taller stature. The skulls of 2 adults and a child found in Erto, Ethiopia, are classified as Homo sapiens, but they are so similar to modern humans that some experts don't consider them a subspecies at all. A Homo sapiens skull found in Tanzania dates back to 120,000 years ago, and it also had a mix of archaic and modern traits, such as lower facial features and a more decreased brow. Although researchers may disagree about which fossils represent modern humans, it's clear that these discoveries show the evolution of Homo sapiens over time. So when did fossils first display completely modern humans with all of their distinguishing characteristics? Well, okay, that one's hard to say for sure. One skull found in Omokibish, Ethiopia, resembles a modern human, and it's 195,000 years old, but another skull discovered in Nigeria's Iwo Eluru cave appears highly archaic, despite being only 13,000 years old. This tells us that the process of humans becoming modern was not a linear one with a singular point in time. It was a gradual process that took place over many years. While some early human discoveries are disputed, few are as contentious as the Epidemus skull fragment unearthed in the southern Greece, which may be over 200,000 years old, and potentially the earliest modern human fossil found outside of Africa. However, debate persists, with some experts suggesting that the poorly preserved remains resemble those of Neanderthals. Despite these discoveries, genetic analysis suggests that all non-living Africans can trace the majority of their lineage back to historic migrations that began around 50,000 to 60,000 years ago. This is supported by climate reconstructions that indicate lower sea levels provided opportunities for humans to depart Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, and the Middle East. Earlier African immigrants may have interbred with more archaic hominids still alive at the time, but their lineage appears to have faded away or been wiped away by later migrations. Throughout most of our existence, Homo sapiens were not the only humans on the planet. We coexisted with frequently interbred other hominin species, including some that we have yet to identify. However, one by one, these species vanished, leaving only ours to symbolize all of humanity. Some of these species have only recently perished on an evolutionary timeline, such as the fascinating and smaller earlier human species known as the hobbit Homo floresiensis, which existed around 50,000 years ago, but their fate remains a mystery. They do not appear to be related to modern humans, including the Rampasessor pygmy population who live in the same area today. Long ago, Neanderthals roamed across Eurasia, from Portugal and the British Isles to Siberia. However, as Homo sapiens began to flourish in these areas, the Neanderthals slowly disappeared and they became extinct about 40,000 years ago. Despite this, evidence suggests that a few Neanderthals may have actually persisted in strongholds like Gibraltar until 29,000 years ago, and their DNA can still be found in modern humans. But their more mysterious cousins, the Denisovans, have left so few fossils that scientists are unsure of their appearance or if there were more than one species here. Recently, human genome analysis in Papua New Guinea suggests that humans may have coexisted and interbred with Denisovans as recently as 15,000 years ago, although this claim is still up for debate. However, the genetic ancestors of Denisovans are more certain, as many Asians today have between 3 to 5% of their DNA from them. So, the discovery of a new human species can either fill in the missing pieces or complicate the tracing of our ancestry. Beyond these remarkable discoveries, something mysterious is about to be discovered. Imagine stumbling upon an enormous skull, unlike anything ever seen before. Recognizing its importance, the person who found it carefully concealed the skull in an abandoned well. Fast forward about 90 years, a groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Innovation suggests that the skull belongs to a previously unknown human species called Homo longi, or the Dragon Man. Who exactly is this enigmatic figure known as the Dragon Man? The Dragon Man skull discovery has caused quite a stir in the scientific community, as it could shake up the humanity family tree. The virtually complete human skull was found in the early 1930s in China's northernmost province, hidden away in a well for decades. It has a larger cranium and a hefty brow bone protruding, concealing the gaping holes where his eyes once were. This fossil, along with others that don't fit into the standard human origin account, has sparked debates about our ancestors and their evolution. What makes this discovery even more intriguing is that further investigations indicate that this skull likely belonged to a male individual who lived at least 446,000 years ago. The skull's combination of ancient and modern anatomical features place it in a unique position in the human family tree. By analyzing its shape and its size, as well as comparing it to other fossils, scientists believe that it shares close connections with other captivating human remains discovered in Asia during that same period. Surprisingly, these findings indicate that these fossils are not only linked to our species, but also possibly even more so than the well-known Neanderthals. However, the proposed grouping and identification of a new species has sparked debate and concern amongst scientists. Some scholars speculate that the Dragon Man may have ties to the cryptic Denisovans, a group related to the Neanderthals, but with very limited fossil evidence, consisting of a few teeth, a fragmented piece of a skull, a pinky bone, and potentially a damaged jaw. The Harbin skull, as it's famously known, sheds light on the intricate branches of human family tree, and it emphasizes the complexity of our ancestral history. By unraveling the mystery surrounding our mysterious human predecessors and their geographical distributions over time, we can gain valuable insights into our origins. The skull was found by a worker who revealed his secret discovery to his grandchildren before he died. In 2018, the grandchildren returned to the well where the skull was found to claim their reward. The skull was not only well preserved, but it also had a mixture of traits that were both archaic and modern. Shongji, a paleontologist at Hape-Gyo University, heard that this discovery was made, and he decided to investigate. After taking a photo of the fossil, he became intrigued by its unusual characteristics. The Harbin skull has a high forehead and is squat and broad, which are traits common in archaic hominins. However, it also has delicate cheekbones, which are more similar to our species. Additionally, the skull only has one surviving tooth, but it has 3 roots, which is a rare feature in modern humans. The family who has discovered the skull eventually donated it to the Geoscience Museum at a Chinese university, where the team began analyzing it. The team gathered data from around 95 other fossil crania, jawbones, and teeth, and used a supercomputer to build billions of phylogenetic trees. By using these trees, they were able to shed light on the evolutionary links between hominins with the fewest evolutionary steps. The Harbin skull was placed on a branch that is now closely connected to our species. This has led to some researchers believing that the skull is so distinct from other human fossils that it should be classified as a distinct species. However, not all scientists and outside specialists agree that the Harbin skull should be classified as a distinct species. Some argue that many of the skull's distinguishing features are actually just masses of scale rather than separate features. The scientists expect some variance between the species due to differences in sex, individual age, and geographical adaptations, fossil age, and other factors. But despite the controversy, the Harbin skull has shed some new light on the evolutionary links between hominins. This mixture of modern and ancient traits found in the skull is similar to those found in the Dali cranium, which was classified in the same group as the Harbin skull. The debate over the Harbin skull's classification will undoubtedly continue, but the discovery has been added to our understanding of human evolution. So, let me tell you a fascinating little story about a recent study on ancient human fossils. Another skull was discovered in the Shaanxi province in northwest China, which is now considered a separate species of Homo heidelbergensis, another group of humans. The Denisovans is also known to have lived in Asia for tens of thousands of years, but their existence has only been confirmed through genetic testing due to the limited amount of fossil evidence. However, the scientists recently discovered a shattered jaw on the Tibetan plateau, which is believed to belong to a Denisovan and is the first fossil of these ancient humans ever discovered outside of the cave that gave the group its name. According to the newly proposed phylogenetic tree, the dragon man, as the skull from Shaanxi is called, is most closely related to this jaw, known as the Shahor mandible. The common ancestor of Neanderthals and Denisovans split from the Homo sapien ancestors around 600,000 years ago, and then separated into 2 groups, with Neanderthals spreading across Europe and the Middle East, and the Denisovans spreading across Asia. While there is still much to learn and unpack about these ancient human species, the Dragon Man offers intriguing possibilities. However, researchers are proceeding with caution about genetic analysis on the Dragon Man because such a study would require the destruction of small samples of the fossil. The Dragon Man's superbly preserved traits serve as a reminder that nature rarely draws within the lines, and classifications of these ancient humans will only become more difficult as new discoveries emerge. But as scientists say, the environment and climate of the area where the Dragon Man was found may have contributed to some of the peculiarities evident in the fossil. In addition to the Dragon Man, researchers also discovered ancient remains of early humans in Israel. The skull found at the Israeli site of Nesher Ramla could be a late surviving specimen of a separate Homo population that lived in or around modern-day Israel between 420 and 120,000 years ago. So this early human population swapped both culture and DNA with surrounding Homo sapien groups for thousands of years. The virtually entire mandible or jaw and a right parietal towards the backside of the skull were dated to 140,000 to 120,000 years old. And the person it belonged to wasn't fully Homo sapiens. Instead, this person sits squarely in the center of a hitherto unknown group of Homo, demonstrating a peculiar blend of archaic and Neanderthal traits, and distinguishes the early Homo sapiens from later Neanderthals. Now let's talk about a recent group of humans known as the Nesher Ramla Homo. Unlike other earlier designations of Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, this group includes fossils found in Israeli sites, such as the famous Lady of Tabun. The Lady of Tabun, also known as Tabun C1, was discovered in 1932, and it taught us a lot about Neanderthal anatomy and behavior during a time when little was known about our evolutionary ancestors. If Tabun, C. Wanab, and others from the Ksem and Zutir caves were part of the Nesher Ramla Homo group, it would explain some of the inconsistencies in their anatomy previously observed. So, the Nesher Ramla Homo could potentially be our most recent common ancestor with Neanderthals, as genetic evidence suggests that there was early gene flow between Homo sapiens and Neanderthal between 400,000 and 200,000 years ago, which means that interbreeding amongst Homo sapien populations was more widespread than previous thought, or I guess rather Homo populations at large. Haha. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Scientists discovered 6,000 stone tools at the Nesher Ramla site that were created in the same way as contemporaneous Homo sapiens groups created their technology. These similarities suggest that the two populations were socializing regularly, and not only swapping genes, wink wink, but also ideas on tool making. Bones from various animals, including tortoise, gazelle, oryx, boar, ostriches, were also found on the site, suggesting that the Nesher Ramla Homo hunted a variety of animals for food. They were even cooking their meals using fire, as evidenced by the discovery of a campfire feature that was the same age as the fossils. So it's fascinating to think that the Nesharamba Homo was not only gathering wood for campfires and cooking, but also actively managing their fires, just like we do now. Reflecting on this incredible find, I can't help but wonder about the Nesharamba themselves. Who were they? How did they live? What was their world like? We may never know all the answers, but one thing is certain. Their connection to fire reveals a shared humanity that transcends time. So what are your thoughts on this newly discovered species? It's fascinating to think about how our ancestors, even those so far removed from us, had such a profound understanding of fire. It really was fire, you know, and that's amazing. That's beautiful. It's great. So share your thoughts and join the conversation in the comment section down below. I expect to hear you in the comment section down below. Bye.